The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Ask for Candy, 101 ways to make your love and your life sweeter. I am Candice, lovecoach.com and Armed Radio Global. You guys just came in. Hopefully you're listening on your TuneIn app on a smart device, or maybe you're in the garden on armedradioglobal.com. And we already have all of our Facebook people and whoever else might be, stumbling on in whenever they get home from work or whatever, joining us live. Tonight is going to be a very, very fun night, and it's going to be a conversation. Here's the number if you're listening. It's 1-800-508-5431. And if you are on Facebook, I want you to join the Armed Radio Global Group News or Armed Radio Group News group. And I want you to join the Creative Love Collective because, I want you to be able to get updates, know what we're doing, know where we are. Like I said, I'm Candice, lovecoach.com. My talent is conversation. My passion is personal growth. My purpose is to teach and inspire radical self-acceptance of myself and others so that we can all have our best possible love life. My guest tonight, who is becoming a regular guest, off and on, right? You're going to be here sometimes, sometimes not. Is the beautiful, wonderful, fabulous, talented Toby Blackwell.
Yay! Am I supposed to cheer for myself?
You can cheer for yourself. This is a place where we cheer for ourselves.
People should cheer for themselves.
Hello.
If you are not going to cheer for you, who's going to cheer for you?
Exactly. It's all about self-love and self-acceptance, right? Relationship with self. What does RuPaul say?
If you can't love yourself, how you going to love somebody else? That's it. I don't know. I'm not RuPaul. How you going to love anybody else? If you can't love yourself, how you going to love anybody else? Can I get an amen over here? Let the music play. Miss Vanjie. Miss Vanjie.
So my Toby is back, and we love it. Tonight, the whole show is all about. Oh, you know what we got to do? We got to do a couple of announcements.
A
little business out of the way. First of all, we are in the iHeartRadio system. Woo! I feel like we get to celebrate.
Yes. We are high tech here. CGI and everything.
Right?
Yes,
we are in iHeartRadio now, so that means if you have an Alexa, you can find us. You can listen to past shows at any time. I think that we're also live. I'm not exactly sure about that, but all you have to do is go to iHeart.com and you can search the podcast, Ask for Candy, or look for Ask for Candy, and we will. I see all the hearts. Thank you, Bex. And you'll find us. And
just put in Ask for Candy, and we're finding out that we're going to be on some other platforms, or you'll be on some other platforms, and I'll be there.
Yeah, showing up.
And so we will announce those when we're official and we know how to get to them.
Yes.
But we get more news all the time. It's blowing up.
Right? It's blowing up.
People like candy.
Getting out there. Hello, honey. Who don't like some candy? It's sweetness. It's all about the sweetness. So now the other thing is that we have to give a shout out to the person who first brought us on with Armed Radio Global, the person who opened the doors for us and had us as guests, me and you together, put us together, was like, Candice and Toby would be perfect as guests together. And we had a great show. Yes. Maria Gentili.
Maria!
What's the story with Maria? Woo! Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, happy birthday, Maria. And her show's on tomorrow night.
Yes.
Her show's on Tuesday nights at the same time.
Tuesdays at 9 o'clock.
Tuesdays at 9.
It's Maria's show.
And she's a great show and talks to artists and people in New York. And we are excited. It's her birthday.
Yes.
She's awesome. She's been a mentor of mine for many years, and we love her.
Yeah, same here. Fantastic singer, fantastic musician, just an all-around really great lady. And it's her birthday. And, we just wanted to shout her out and celebrate her a little bit. We love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And thank you for getting us, hooked up with Armed Radio Global. All right, so what else do we have? Is there any other business that we need to handle? Anything else we need to talk about? All right, let's go on with the show. So what this show is about, each week we have lively conversations about different topics relating to love and relationships. Sometimes we'll bring on special guests or games and activities, like my Toby here. Always we get a chance to laugh, cry, or just learn something new, right? That's always good. And
to share our experiences that we've had, things we've learned, and to hear things that you have learned, experiences you've had, and we're all giving each other sort of advice and some tips and things like that.
Absolutely. We're a community of love and sharing. So that is also why this is a conversation. So we're not here to like tell you a bunch of rules or hand down like, what was that book back in the 80s or 90s, The Rules, that was all about dating? The rules. Yeah, whatever. It was atrocious. We're not here to do that. What we want to do is just open up conversations because we know that everyone has different needs. Everybody has different experiences and is coming from different places. So, there are certain standard ways of being that will help you have a workable love life. And then there's your own individual stuff. And we like to talk about our own individual stuff so that we can feel like we're supported and in a community and, love solves everything.
And everybody's different.
Right? It's true. So to that end, we want you guys to participate. We want you to call in 1-800-504-5431. If you're on the Facebook Live, feel free to comment and participate in the game. And the game tonight. Okay, so if you're like me, you may have been a little cynical about the royal wedding. I was like not feeling it. I was like, whatever, another royal wedding, another, whatever, pomp and circumstance, until I started watching it.
An hour? Like you just randomly started watching TV
no!
in the morning?
Here's the thing. I didn't watch the original broadcast. I was like, I'm not going to be bothered. Of course, it replayed early in the morning and all of that stuff. I still was kind of like, whatever. And then I caught a clip on YouTube. And it totally sucked me in. I was so there for it. I loved everything about it. I loved everything about it, how beautiful of a bride that she was. I loved like all of the pomp and circumstance. I loved the blending of cultures. I loved that she was allowed to bring a lot of her Black American culture into the ceremony. I mean, to a limit, but there was a lot of that. I loved all the like premium, like U.S. celebrities and royalty that were there, like Oprah and Serena Williams, and like it's fabulous. Yeah, so it got me to thinking, like, it's interesting because I was like, why are we so fascinated with this? Like, why do we besides the fact that it is very much like the fairy tale, right? The young prince and the princess, and they're gorgeous and all of that stuff, and they're in love with each other. But also, like, one of the big things that really stood out for me is that it's this combination of, like, love and money, right?
Once you're in that family, you have responsibilities. You're going to, be set for life, and but there's pros and cons to that.
Yeah, but you'll never have to worry about like the light bill,
right?
Or whether credit cards are paid or any of that stuff. So it's kind of like the dream of romantic love, like to never have to worry about how your basic needs are going to be met, your basic physical needs, and just be in and that's not to say that they won't have any issues or anything like that. Every relationship.
It was just, I was so surprised. I was like, it's just kind of like, it was great. Like, there's something, it needs a power wash.
Yeah.
So hopefully Princess Markle will get on that.
Right.
Because it was a little disappointing.
She'll be like, y'all need to rinse this down.
She needs to, yes.
But the thing is, what did you go inside? Was there
you can't go inside.
Inside? There's no like inside.
Everyone's like, no, it was like far outside the gates. And even from that far away, I could tell it needed some washing.
Really?
And I was surprised because I knew they were going to be on the balcony and doing all that stuff today, or the other day. So I was like, wow, they didn't get to the washing job.
But can you imagine, when you get married, your biggest worry is like, my palace is dirty.
But they don't worry about it. They don't worry about it enough.
Right?
Her biggest worry is she's a great advocate for women and for many of the things. She's kind of in the mold of her mother-in-law in terms of issues and things like that. So that's pretty exciting. That's why I didn't watch it, but that's why I'm excited for her to be in the news and to have this in her life and to have her more in our lives. Which is interesting because the English royalty is totally in our lives all the time, and it's not our country. We dumped their tea in the water a long time ago.
Yeah, it's true.
But we are really tied up with it, with the British, and I think the whole world is, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's weird how they're like such a pop culture thing now.
Yeah.
As opposed to because they don't have any ruling power. They're just basically pop culture.
Yeah, a lot of it, and Brexit. There's other like sort of political things, but I don't really understand.
I thought they're not involved in any of the political stuff though, because they don't.
The royal family. Oh, yeah, the royal family is just they're celebrities.
They're entertainment, right?
They're celebrities.
But it's fascinating. Whatever. Anyway, so it brought us over to this whole like love and money thing, and thinking about love and money and how that all works out. So we decided to invent a game.
We did.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the love or money game. I call it the love or money, the life game. So here's the thing we're going to do. And we want you guys to participate, especially those of you on the Facebook Live. Those of you who are listening live, you can always call in with your input and opinions and, whatever comes up for you, whatever you want to talk about around the game. Because, our games are also discussions. They're not just, we're not trying to just rush through and win. We're actually trying to learn something.
Winning is not everything.
Winning is not everything. It's,
it's the only thing.
It's the only thing. Unless it's about love or money, then you want to win all of it. So that's what this game is all about. Now, here's the way the game goes. We're going to, player one is going to give player two a scenario. And what we're going to do is just define what would be the love choice and what would be the money choice. And then once we have that defined, we have our two fancy bowls. We grab the money bowl. Look at, we're very high budget here at Ask for Candy.
The money is backwards.
Is it backwards?
Yeah.
Because you know what? I thought maybe it would do a mirror thing. Did it? No. I don't know how it's looking. Whatever. Because you know how sometimes when you film things, it like does a whole. Whatever. We don't care. We're very high budget here. So if you take the love choice, within each of these bowls are direct or indirect results that you get for you. It's like playing the game of life, right? So it may or may not have anything to do with the choice that you've made having to do with the scenario, but then this determines like what you choose is your outcome and you get a certain number of points. So by the end of the game, the idea is whoever has the most points has amassed the most love and abundance based on the choices that they made.
Okay.
Yeah. Or I would say love and money, but overall abundance based on the choices they made.
So I'm going to put on my
glasses.
It's time to play.
It's time to play.
Where are your love glasses?
Those of you listening, I need some love glasses. Toby has money glasses, honey. Why didn't you bring me some heart glasses?
I didn't have heart glasses just randomly sitting around my apartment. I did, however, have these, which is weird, I know, but just look at it.
You had those just sitting
Yes, I swear to God. I thought I had love ones too, but I didn't have lips.
You didn't go to the Dollar Tree?
Oh, no. I don't know. And these are like $5 Tree.
See, no endorsements, but Toby loves the Dollar Tree, and now I do too.
See, and that's great that we're talking about money, because if someone who wants to save money will go to Family Dollar, the Dollar Tree, those kind of stores, and get that money. Because some of that stuff is the exact same stuff that you pay 4 times as much on Amazon for and 10 times as much in a regular store. So
it's true, like all your plastics and your whatnots. It's true. All right, are you ready to play this game?
Yes.
So I think we should like randomly pick the scenarios. We have this list of possible scenarios. We're going to randomly pick those, right?
Okay.
You want to go first? You want to be player one?
I'll be player one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Randomly pick a scenario.
Here's a scenario.
Okay.
Your house burns to the ground.
Oof.
The only way to collect insurance is if it was an accident. Your teenage son confesses to you that he did it on purpose and made it look like an accident. His actions aren't covered by your policy. What do you do?
Oof.
Okay, so.
So here's the hard thing about this. Like, I think initially the love choice to me would be to be concerned with teaching him the lesson of being in integrity.
Right.
That would be the love choice. However, you also want to have a roof over his head.
Well, he will have a roof over his head. It's called the prison. And so he's an arsonist, basically.
He is an arsonist.
Yeah, he's an arsonist. So the love choice, I guess, it would be to turn him in because he really needs to get some help or something.
Yeah.
The money choice would be to not because you want some money.
Yeah, or you want to rebuild your house.
And you want the money for the house, yeah.
Like, especially if you have an entire family, like, it doesn't specify there. But if I have my spouse and my son, and if I have any other children, how do I rebuild my house?
Now, some people would say that the love choice would be to not turn him in as well.
To not turn him in?
Yeah, to show that you love him, you don't want him to go to jail. So
yeah,
there's that as a love choice.
See, I think that's a codependent love choice.
So
because that's like an enabling.
So for some people, that seems like that you can get love and money with that choice. What do you choose to do?
So I would. It's hard. That's a hard one because I do think that I wouldn't want to enable my child to be a criminal. I wouldn't want to try to make up for him being a criminal. However, I would definitely want to rebuild a house. So I guess if I'm in a space of having faith and all of that stuff, the choice that I'm going to make is my child's integrity and. Without having been in that situation, I'm going to go for the love choice.
The love choice.
Let's go for the love choice, which is tough love. Tough love for my kid.
The tough love choice.
Yeah.
All right. So if you chose the love choice, those of you who chose the love choice, you would get. If you choose the love choice, then by doing this, you and you, about your struggle, you become internet famous and start sending endorsement deals, and you get plus 15 points.
That means I'll be able to rebuild my
Look at
house.
that. See what happens? You're able to do both things.
And my arsonist kid goes to jail.
You're able to jail. So that you both have homes.
Right? All right. So that's
plus 15 for you.
Yeah. All right.
And if you chose a love choice, you get plus 15 points.
Right? Yay!
How about you guys? What would you do in that situation? Would you turn the arsonist in?
The arsonist being your teenage son.
Or would you keep quiet and collect that insurance money?
Right, and get that house rebuilt.
It's a bit of a delay, so and then when we do the next question, we'll probably get the answers to this one.
A little later on, you guys. I mean, I think the thing about it is that, most choices when it comes to love and money, most choices with money in particular, I think that basically people want to do the right thing, right? Like no one wants to do the untoward thing. They don't want to do something that they're guilty about, things like that. But, there's survival we have to consider,
right.
So that's what
that's right. That is true. And yeah, you have to have a house over your head. It's going to cost you tons of money, and you don't want to be an arsonist, but if you might not want to go to jail. It's kind of an interesting dilemma to be in.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's burning down a house. That's probably something you can't even take care of, and anyway, he needs some help. So. And
also, I think we're just playing a game here, but I do think that and this is me being totally woo-woo, totally like spiritual girl. I do think by making the choice of integrity, then the rewards come. So that's why I was so excited that the result that I got was that I get to then be internet famous and sign endorsement deals and can then afford to build a new
that's
house.
one result of the thing.
That's one result of the thing.
For you, this thing. For him, his life is now over.
Well,
and he's like, he's got a huge struggle. And you have money that goes to lawyers, that goes to other things too. That are not. This is like a game, so we're making everything kind of but there's that too. Even you're taking an integrity choice means other things as well. You could just be quiet and just take the money and go and deal with him on your own if you think.
But then you don't know if his behavior is going to escalate.
Right.
I think that his life might get more difficult, but it also might mean reformation.
Right.
And if you have a whole lot of money, you'll be able to get him good lawyers and doctors and yeah. I don't know, whatever.
So sometimes it's
a game of life, honey.
Yeah.
Love or money is a life game. Your turn.
Okay.
All right. I'm random. Pick one. Okay. All right. So you're happily married, and your spouse makes double your salary over the years. Your spouse's salary stays the same, and yours grows exponentially.
Yes.
So now you make 5 times your spouse's salary, and your spouse becomes resentful. What do you do? Love choice or money choice?
All right. So
let's define them.
I think the love choice would be some sort of, working it out with them or including them and letting them know that they, that the money is our money and that making it somehow be not as important of an issue.
Okay.
And the money choice would be, why are you being resentful? I'm just going to go off and do this on my own. I make this much money. I can live this crazy, fabulous life, not being tied down by your low income and. I don't know how to do it. And
Cocoa Island,
and go, because I'm like now I'm making these money moves, and so I am, I have the possibility of all these other people that are interested in me that are on my level of income, whatever, because I'm successful and you are not.
So the love choice is to actually have the conversation with them and try to get them enrolled in like this is our money, we share and really include them and be generous. I mean, obviously, if you're going to want to do fabulous things based on making 5 times more, you're going to have to be pretty generous, right? And then the money choice, you said, is to be like,
no,
I'm out.
There's two ways: either get the program and do, it is I have more money, so I get more say, or I'm out.
Okay, so which one are you taking?
I'm going to take the love choice.
The love choice?
Yeah.
The love goal, right? Okay.
What happens?
The love choice.
Yes.
You discover that your lover is actually amazing in bed, so you get 20 points.
Look at that!
Hey, you did the love choice.
And I wouldn't have had to discover that because I already know that. We're already married.
Married.
That's great.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you discover something new.
Maybe
the
they're just so happy. Yeah, maybe that's just like something that's been weighing. So this conversation about money is something that really weighs on relationships, especially when people there's such a disparity. Whether maybe someone stay at home and someone's making all the money, or something happens like in a scenario where a person makes more money, all of a sudden that didn't before, so the dynamic changes. Or just if you go into the whole thing with one person always making more and one person always making less, and so you've got to, it comes up in different ways, and in some ways it comes up is that the person, there's a resentfulness on both sides. The one person feels like the other person, is making money, and they look down on them. It could be that they feel like that, I make all this money, I should have more decision making, or they start taking more. They start making more financial decisions, and just because and it's just natural, and then that needs to be discussed. Because if you're married, your partnership is supposed to be equal, and that would mean with finances too, in terms of making decisions about what we're going to buy this large things, whether or not someone's money is contributing more of the money to the other person. So it's all about communication and realizing what the fact that someone makes more money than the other person does not make them a better person or a more important person in a relationship, and making that very clear, I think, and following that up with actions that show that.
Yeah, but I also think you touched on something too, in that the money itself is, if you're willing to have the conversation, you get to define with your partner what the money is. So, whatever new things and new discoveries and however your relationship develops out of just being willing to have the conversation. A lot of times we have conflicts about money, or we have conflicts about the way we see things because of exactly what the scenario is. And we're not willing to just have the conversation, right. Yes, the generosity of wanting to share if you want to share. And even if you don't want to share, it's being able to be vulnerable enough to say, this is what I feel like is happening in our relationship. Can we talk about it? Can we figure it out?
But if you're married though, you're going to have to, share. That's what you decide to do. And if you decide that we put in, this amount together, and that's what that is. But that becomes awkward. You want to do it without being awkward, and it can be awkward. But I think that generally when you go into it, you sort of say, well, we're married. There's different things that we're contributing, and maybe I don't contribute as much financially. But by the same time, I'm contributing. I'm your emotional support. You would never go to work. I'm from a military family. My mom sometimes worked, sometimes didn't. My dad was the main breadwinner, but she contributed a lot. He could not go out to sea and do his job if she wasn't, doing what she was doing, at home and what she was doing. So, there are things that you contribute to a relationship that are not just financial. So, when someone looks at their contribution purely in a financial standpoint, they're not looking at the whole relationship, and that could be a result of deeper issues.
I see Mary Beth and Nikki and Joe. My Joes. Joe Cangelosi and Joe Savino are here. I love it. Hi, you guys. Thank you. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Toby and I are playing a game, Love or Money, the life game, where we are giving each other scenarios and choosing whether we want to take the love choice or the money choice. And then we're getting from our love and money bowl our results that come from that. And we're learning a lot of things. And you guys are welcome to chime in with us about whether you would take the love choice or the money choice. It's not as easy. Lee says, well said, Toby.
Thank you.
The love or the money choice is not as easy as you would think it would be, because it's not just about having money or having love, right? As we've defined, as Toby so eloquently just defined. So we're going to keep pushing ahead, and hopefully those of you who have joined will also.
Yeah, we recognize that not everything's cut and dry, but we're sort of making it cut and dry for board game reasons. But just us, and we'd like to hear you guys' input on any of these topics we talked about, income disparities, or what to do if someone that gets in trouble, and turning them in means you don't get some kind of money or benefit that you might otherwise get. And next we have this.
Okay, hit me.
After years of loneliness, you meet an amazing person with whom you get to spend all of your free time. For 3 months, you experience absolute bliss. Suddenly, you get a notice in the mail that you are eligible for a Lonely People grant of $45 million. You can only collect it if you stay alone for 5 more years. What do you do?
Oof. See.
You're super excited about this person for 3 months, and then they said, people say, we will give you $45 million if you stay alone for 5 more years. I assume just not dating someone for 5 years, as opposed to just anything.
All right, so 3 months. I think 3 months is enough time to kind of figure out if you really are attracted to someone. You might feel a love for them, an affinity for them.
You experience absolute bliss, according to this scenario.
Absolute bliss. Okay. I mean, you could be blissful with someone for 3 months, right? And I still. And here's the thing, because I have been in stages of my life where I understood loneliness, or long stretches where, I didn't understand what you do with aloneness, that aloneness doesn't have to mean loneliness. So this is not coming from a place of not understanding loneliness, and maybe I would have said something different back then, but who I am now, I would take the money. I would take the money. I would do 5 more years.
Elise says no dating at all. So that's what I.
Well, it says you have to be alone.
It says stay alone. Does that mean like you can't talk to anybody, or does it mean you can't date, or can't like what are the rules?
Well, I think you can make it whatever you want to make it mean. I mean, for me,
what is this? Well, you made up this contest. So what does this contest?
I know, right?
What does this grant mean? Does grant mean you can't date? No, not romantically. You can't have any friends.
I think that the grant means is that like whatever you're defining as I'm living a lonely life. So for some people, it's dating is lonely. For some people, just staying by themselves in their apartment all the time is lonely. So for what I frame loneliness as, or what felt like loneliness to me, I would live through that for. So I didn't factor in the 5 years. I think I would. I would live through that for 5 years because of what it would afford me for my family and after that 5 years.
What would that mean for you?
What do you mean?
Being alone, staying alone for 5 years.
Well, I mean, for what I experienced it as is, being in a mental state of feeling like something was missing, or like someone was missing, or that I needed to have someone with me.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's what loneliness means. I don't think it has anything to do with whether you're in a relationship or not, because there's a lot of people who are married who feel very lonely.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's what a state of loneliness is. I think knowing what I know now, that's a hard one, because knowing what I know now, it's like I don't see myself feeling like being alone is lonely anymore. So if I got a loneliness grant and all I had to do was be alone for 5 years, I would do it. What does he say?
Lisa.
Being married was alone for me. See, yeah, I agree, Lee. I think that's true for a lot of people. Hi, Roberta. Roberta joined us. I think that's true for a lot of people, because loneliness is a state of mind. It's
now, keep in mind,
now
just before you were given this grant, you have even during that, you have 3 months of seeing how amazing an interaction with someone can be.
Yes, with a person that I was blissful with. Right?
Yes, so you have that, and then all of a sudden, right now, you get no more.
Now, here's the thing about that.
You can do anything. It's just over.
Yeah, here's the thing about that. And maybe that's why I'm single now, but I do believe in the abundance of, I don't believe that there's only one soulmate. So I feel like you can have a great thing with someone, and that there's other people that you can have that great thing with too. So in as much as, maybe back in the day when I was so steeped in loneliness, and then if I had 3 great months with someone, I would think it was like the be all end all. But nowadays, who I am now, 3 great months with someone would be great, and that's fine, and I'm sure I'd have a great time, but I wouldn't trade $45 million for it.
But if it was $1 million?
I mean, if it was $1 million and all I had to do was trade that person, I would do it. If I had to be 5 years,
the same rules with $1 million.
I wouldn't do it for $1 million, because I couldn't do nearly as much with $1 million.
So you're doing it based on what you can do with the money after 5 years.
Yes, I could totally
you don't get this money until after the 5 years.
Yeah, but after I get that money, then I could build my wellness center for women. I could make sure that my family has everything that they need. All my nephews would have whatever they wanted, and trust funds and things like that.
So but you'll be depressed.
Well, I would sacrifice that if it meant being able to do what I feel is my purpose. For 5 years. Yeah. If it meant fulfilling my purpose and being able to fulfill my purpose.
What happens in 5 years?
Sacrifice. But I've been through that. I've been through it. So I'm not that afraid of it. I feel like if you've never been through it, or if it's something that you don't understand. I mean, I've been through it and been diagnosed with depression from it. So I know what it feels like. I know what it means to be doing it. But if I knew that there was going to be a $45 million reward at the end of it, and how I could turn life around, I would do it. And we'll see. It's the money choice that could end up.
So the money would be keeping you company. Or the idea of the money.
The idea of the money would be, what I could do with it.
That is great. So because of that, you use your money to buy a pharmaceutical company just before it got exposed for severe animal cruelty practices. Negative 25 points.
Are you keeping track? Well, there you have it. That's what I get for choosing money. And let me tell you, in both of these bowls, there are both positive and negative outcomes for whatever you choose. So that's just
that's just right.
Yeah.
You chose a pharmaceutical company.
I bought a pharmaceutical company.
All right.
All right, your turn.
I know. I'm going to reach for you. Okay. You ready? Yes.
Okay. You start a pet care business that becomes ultra lucrative and famous for selling super healthy pet products.
Yes.
A news story breaks that your new spouse once ran a slaughterhouse and you had no idea. Your PR department tells you that the only way to salvage your company's reputation and recoup any lost profits is by divorcing. What do you do?
So,
love or money?
If I stay married, then I don't get any money.
Well, if you stay married, your company is just going to go down the toilet. Yeah.
If I don't stay married, then I get to keep my company that does that, and then no, no, right.
Well, that's what. Yeah.
I would have to.
The love choice would be to stay married, right? Is that what we're defining?
The love choice would be stay married. The financial choice would be get divorced and to see them on the side, which is what I would do.
You divorce them and see them on the side.
Yeah, and see them, and then later on down the road, once everyone's forgotten about it, you get remarried.
After it blows up.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
All right. So that's the money choice, right?
Is this money?
Huh? Is this money? That's money.
Okay.
All right.
The money choice. I mean, my money moves.
Mm-hmm.
And, so then I was single. A famous model I met at an event starts to stalk me and leaves threatening phone calls. Negative 15 points. Wow. That's not so bad. It was a model.
How would you do it? You're still winning.
I'm still winning, of course. All right.
What about these guys? Usually Angela participates in the game. What about you guys? What do you think about
it? Any other things you have to discuss about money? If you have questions about, if you want some advice on each other's advice on any sort of money relationship situation, chime in. Yeah. We're just doing this game to sort of get the conversation rolling.
About love and money.
About love and money.
Yeah.
Hi, Candice. Here's one. You supported your partner through grad school, and now they've graduated and are working. But they still have the debt of student loans, so together they can't afford for you to take your turn at grad school. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Okay. So the love choice would be to communication, of course, get back to like how we could possibly work it out and what we need to do like timeline wise and go ahead and make the compromise.
You stay in there, you still contribute your money to his student loans, and then you postpone your grad school indefinitely until whenever.
Yeah, that's the love choice, right? Mm-hmm. And I guess that would also depend on like children and stuff like that. And
let's say that. And the money choice would be.
The money choice would be.
User left your channel.
I think that was Jim that just left us. The money choice would be to.
Just go to grad school.
Well, figure it out on my own and kind of like go my own way with it.
Yeah, your extreme case would be.
Lee says help your love. Do you mean love? Help your love search for things like grants or fellowships.
Yeah, but it could be that maybe now since you're both working, you both make too much money to get grants or fellowships. So him having his job and him being successful could be a hindrance. Could be a problem. Because, maybe now you have your income's too high for any kind of financial aid for your things, and also your money is probably going towards his student loans, and you're still having to support him because his money's got to go to these student loans as well. So until you get them paid off, you're not going to be able to go.
Yeah.
Unless you separate your money from his, either through divorce or just being like you're on your own with these student loans too.
So we're saying that the money choice is to divorce or to like go like figure out
at least financially divorce. Yeah.
My own money solution,
and
let him figure out. His own money situation, paying off his own grad school. I mean, of course, it would depend on a lot of things. Mm-hmm. I mean, knowing how I have lived my life, being someone who has always been very independent, as a single girl and even in relationships, which I don't know, that might be why I'm single. Lee says, develop a plan to pay the loans quickly. I like that, Lee. Like, I feel like that's the love choice. If we can team up, I think it would be really important.
Well, that's a team up. That's teaming up to like make it happen. So working together with still supporting him past the years of grad school in order, because now he's paying for the grad school. So if you support him while he went, now you support him also like as he pays it off, and is delaying your dreams, your grad school dreams. And so that's the love choice, which is what he's saying. And you got to find a way to do it quickly, but still there's just only so much that's being made.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like if we're teaming up on that delay, then I'm okay with that. Like if the idea is that yes, we're delaying it, and the plan is to pay off his loans quickly, and also be working on the pot to pay for me to go to. No. We're working as a team. Then yes, that is the love choice. That's the one I would pick.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what comes from that outcome, from that result. You have 5 kids and they all go hungry. Minus 25
You should have studied
points.
more in that grad school. Minus 25 points. But see, but you should get plus 20 points because that means you had good sex.
Right. We teamed up. We loved each other so hard that we
had 5 kids. That's really great.
And they all went hungry. That's great. Should we do one more? I do want to get to this article about what was it? It was why you should never marry for money. I feel like that was some interesting stuff. But let's do a couple more.
Let's do one more round.
Yeah. All right, your turn. Right? Okay. So let's.
This says, "Damn."
I know, right?
But it was fun getting them
All
5 kids,
went
though.
hungry.
Once they got the kids, that was no fun for a while.
Right? Okay, your partner wants to start a joint account as the next step in your relationship, but you think that they are an overspender and aren't sure what that will mean for you financially. So what do you do? What's the love choice? What's the
love choice is get the joint account.
Mm-hmm.
The money choice is don't get the joint account. There's like an in-between choices where you make a sort of, have a joint account that's yours and then still have your own accounts. That it just becomes tricky when you say that. So, I guess if we're deciding that the person is demanding an ultimatum, all our money goes in the accounts, then you have a love choice of all the money goes in, you have a money choice of all the money does not go in. Mm-hmm. There is a middle road.
So are we adding that to the scenario? Like, are they saying
is that a
all our money
choice
together or?
Yeah, let's say that.
Okay. So
they're being rational. So as you can tell what I would do, which is not do that. I would not. If they're an overspender and if they're insisting that we put all in there, I would definitely keep my money, and because then that, and if they're an overspender, there's some issues going on there.
Yeah.
If the compromise is to, of course, do many couples and stuff do an account that's together for utilities, all the expenses of the relationship, and then they have their own money on the side. So she can overspend her money all she wants, but then that doesn't come into our funds or anything like that. It becomes a problem too when you go. The next step beyond this is once you get married. What do you decide to do and how do you decide to declare yourself on taxes, things like that. If you get married and start declaring yourself with joint taxes, you incurred that person's debt, and the things that they do in their financial life can mess up your credit score that you've worked very hard, to work on. So it's important. Again, another reason it's important to have conversations about what's going on, find out even how asking once you're getting serious with someone, how much they make. It's embarrassing, which we don't like to talk about it, sort of, but it's super important.
Yeah, Lee says money choice, no joint account. Oh, Lee.
Yeah.
And Angela, what she said, can't they just have the person who is the better money manager manage the account?
You can, but I've been reading stuff about that. But you need to make sure that both people are involved with it, and so the better money manager should be supervising, but the other person needs to be involved. Because what one thing that people do in relationships is be like, I don't know about the money, they handle the money, and then they're so surprised when all of a sudden money's messed up or they're overspending. If she's the overspender, she needs to be fully involved in that so she knows and she can see the results, or he can see the results of their overspending. Mm-hmm. And so both people need to be involved. And especially in decision making, like where the money's going. Like one person can manage it in terms of the books, but they both need to be involved. One for the lesson for the other person, and two because so it doesn't become a weird power thing, and one person knows all about the finances, and the other person's in the dark when all of a sudden they're bankrupt.
I want to know. Well, Lee was married, and he said money choice, no joint account. I'm wondering if Lee is saying that because when he was married, he did have a joint account, or it's just something he's never done at all. Angela says, absolutely. I think she's in response to what you were saying. Because I know couples where it's exactly like what you're talking about, Toby. Even my older sister and her husband, they've been very good with their financial management. Because my sister's really good with it, and she manages everything, but it's a shared thing. My mom always told us to make sure you have money of your own. Yeah. And when I was in a relationship, my last committed relationship, the fact that they wanted to have a joint account to me felt like some sort of next level step. Yeah. Lee says, I dated an overspender. I was afraid of her spending. I get that.
But did you have
can screw you. When married? When married ever? I just didn't feel
ever? That. So, Lee, did you have an account with her, or you just dated her and you saw she's overspending, so you were like, I'm never going to have an account with her? And would you have an account with her that was just for part of your money, just for expenses and things like that, or were you just like no commingling of funds at all?
That's a good question. We're going to give Lee time to answer because we're on a delay. But what are you saying that you would do? You're saying that you would...
In real life, I would do the thing with when I did this before, with one account that's for the rent, the utilities, and things like that, and then the rest of the money is mine to do with whatever I want.
See, that's exactly what Angela was saying. I had a joint account with my ex and it worked out well. Our whole paychecks didn't go into the account, just money to cover the household expenses. Right. That makes sense.
And then the only thing is, but then, what happens then if you go to dinner, like, and you take 2 people to dinner and you both go to dinner, the 2 of you go to dinner, like how does that work? Who pays for the dinner? Does that come out of the household account? Does that come out of, it's not, we're not on a date because you're together the whole time, or does it become, that kind of thing?
Lee says, when married, everything was joint. I had no control. I didn't know how much she was. Ooh, Lee.
See, and then that's an issue with one. When one that's on
Big Daddy.
That's an issue.
That's right, Angela.
That's an issue, Lee, with where one person knew what was going on and one didn't, and Lee, who controlled the books in that case. You said you didn't know where she was spending. Is it because every month you would look at the books and find out, or just that she also controlled the books?
Yeah. Well,
And Angela says that's on Big Daddy. So going to dinner is on Big Daddy. That's going to come out of his personal money, she's saying. So it does get treated.
But I think too, even when you're married, like that's something that can be the discussion. Because if you do have a joint account, like Angela was saying, if you have a joint account that covers common expenses, you guys can always have that communication of, this is how I'm paying for this or whatever. You have a credit card or a debit card that's set up for that account, and we go out to dinner and it's just a dinner, then of course we're paying for it. But if you're taking me to dinner or I'm taking you to dinner, then you can, pull
it just comes to things like to define or.
Yeah, Lee says she controlled them. She had credit cards I didn't know about. She
controlled them.
She
controlled the credit cards.
Okay.
So then, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you would have to pay for them, out of the account. Yeah. So it's hard, and you need to ask. There's questions to be asked, and there are weird questions for us, but a joint account and separate account is the way to go, says Lee. Yeah. It's definitely true. But then keep up on that joint account and make sure that it is going for the things it's supposed to be going for. If it's going to be something outside of the norm, you need to check and be like, we're going to buy this gift for this wedding that we're both going to. Should we take it out of the joint account? And you have to have that conversation every time if it's something that's not the normal utilities that you agreed on.
Yeah. So now, what was your choice again? You got to pick one of these.
Oh, I chose money.
You chose money.
I'm not going to come in with the account.
Okay, so no joint account. So what do you get? What happens?
Okay, I chose money. I had no joint account. Oh, I already had that one. Right? That lever was amazing in bed too. Yay. So it didn't really work out though. We didn't have a joint account. So because we didn't have a joint account, I was able to run off with a professional athlete and build a soap empire. Because I had my own money, see? So that's smart. That worked really well. And I got 20 points for that.
You weren't meant to. I feel like if you can't have a joint account with someone, if it doesn't have to be all of your money,
right,
then that says something about the relationship.
Yeah, some of it has to be joint. It's just and just for convenience too. That way you don't have to be like, can I have your half on the rent? Every month. It just makes it easy.
Exactly. So Lee, I get what you're saying because of the trauma that you went through. But I think in the future, when you do have a long-term relationship, it might be worth it to just have like what Angela described, which was the basic, and Toby described as the basic bills, the basic expenses in a joint account, and then you have your own that you sort of control. And when you do get into another long-term relationship, you really want to have that trust factor. I wonder if there was other trust issues in other areas of the relationship. Not to call you out.
Sometimes, I don't know, but
money's just the representative. It's the tool, right? Like money is not the thing.
A third of people are financially cheating. I've read this article. So, and that's doing these things like having credit cards people don't know about, making purchases. They say, buying a new electronic and being like, oh, I had that already. Like, so a great percentage of people in couple are just actually lying. Financially cheating, I call it. And so it's pretty common, but it's indicative, I think, of greater things, and it's. Shouldn't be happening.
It shouldn't be happening. All right, I like that game. Yeah, I think you beat me on that.
Oh yeah, Candice, you ended up with a negative.
Did I end up with a negative?
35. And
I
ended up with a positive 25.
Oh wow. Well, there you have it.
There you have it. So you've gone either way with these results.
I chose love and money both times. I lost on it. All right, so there's this article that I found from Bold. Spelled BOLDE.com, which is a really great website that talks about love and relationships. I like the way they kind of break it down into bits and pieces.
I like the extra E at the end of the name.
I like the extra E. A little pretentious, but cute. Whatever.
It's old. It's ye old bold.
Ye old bold. And so Rachel Kostelek wrote an article called Why You Definitely Shouldn't Marry for Money, which I thought was interesting because a lot of what I found when I was researching is people talking about why you should marry for money. And why, even though people think that, you got to marry for love, but marrying for money is actually the much more sensible thing to do.
What kind of things were they saying, like in general?
Well, just like if you marry someone who's financially stable, the chances of being able to build your happiness and all of that stuff is going to be a lot higher, and you'll have freedom. So then that will allow you to be yourself. So you'll be more apt to be able to just freely love that person should you choose to. But even like last week, I was telling you how my mom used to always say it's easier to love a rich man than a poor man. And that was her thinking too. Like if you marry somebody with money, then you won't have certain concerns that can interfere with your emotions and your feelings. But also, I think we have to take into consideration, like, what are we calling love? I mean, if we're talking about what, people in their 20s have when they're first getting married and they're just like lusting after each other because they're both good looking and young, and you're marrying just for that and nobody has any financial stability or knowledge. Or knowledge or certainty or anything like that, then obviously, that compared to marrying somebody with sort of a financial head on straight is going to be a bigger risk. Like if I'm just marrying you because we have a sexual attraction, or I'm feeling that kind of puppy love, that kind of fairy tale love, right? So
this article is about don't marry people if the main reason that you're into them is the money.
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, this article totally bucks against all of the like married for money stuff. Hi, Sherry Thomas Powell. I'm glad that you're here. So the internet is flooded with articles telling you why you should find a guy with tons of cash and try to marry for money, and next to none of why you shouldn't. Ignore all of this. Smart women marry for money BS and marry for love is what this article is saying. Or hell, don't get married at all. Here are 10 reasons marrying Mr. Moneybags is never, she says it's never a good idea, which I don't know. I consider myself a smart woman, but she says, number one, because smart women don't have to marry for money. The internet lied to you. Smart women don't marry for money because they don't have to marry for money. Smart women know how to make their own money and feel so much better about themselves for making it. Interesting. And I don't disagree. However, I mean, like, I absolutely think that she's right in the sense that smart women do know how to make their own money. However, I think that there's still that part of you that is not necessarily looking to marry someone for their money, but for their money mindset. Like, I love people who...
That's not money.
Well, let me finish. I've had a shitty money mindset. And what I was thinking in my head was I'm marrying them for love. Like, I'm not, I don't have to think about money or anything like that. But I do think it's really important to marry for someone's money mindset and how they treat their money. Not that it be a certain amount, but marry for money prowess.
But that's a different thing. This article is about why you shouldn't marry people that have tons of money.
No, it just says why you shouldn't marry for money. So I'm just clarifying.
The internet is flooded with articles telling you why you should find a guy with tons of cash and try to marry for money, not love. Okay. So this is saying it's the opposite.
To argue about it.
It's the opposite. So but what I'm saying is that if you like a guy for his money mind, that's more than loving him for money. You love him for his mind.
Yeah, but that's why we're having this discussion. So it's not just as simple as marry somebody for money or not marry them for money. Like, the reason that we're talking about it is like, you marry someone for the right money mindset. Don't just
What if someone has a ton of money and they inherited it and they're not really that smart?
So if they don't have a good money mindset, then it doesn't matter whether they inherit the money.
Right. So what I'm saying is that doesn't really fit in this category because these are marrying people just for money. If you're marrying for their money mindset, then you're marrying them because they're smart people or because they have the things that they do with their money, which means you're marrying them for their brain, which is more in the loves category than in the money category. I think this is talking about just don't marry a rich guy.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so. I mean, kind of, where they got their money. I mean, so because you're talking about smart women don't have to marry for money. I mean, smart women are going to want to. If you want to marry a guy who's for his money mindset, then you're marrying for the right reasons, according to this article. So
yeah. So I'm just adding to it. So the point is this: I do agree that smart women don't have to marry for money, but they do have to marry for a good money mindset. So I'm just adding to the information. I'm not saying that I disagree with what she's saying, and I'm not discounting what she's saying. I'm just saying to add to that.
To add to it.
Yeah. Like, you do want to marry somebody who has a good money mindset.
Okay.
That coming from having experienced being with somebody.
No, I agree. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just unsimplifying it. Like, let's add more to it. Not just, don't worry about it. You're a smart woman. You don't have to marry for money. So then go ahead and just marry for love. Marry for love and a good money mindset. Like, love someone who has a good money mindset. Look for that in that person. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Can I go to number 2?
Oh, please.
It won't buy you happiness. Sure, money can buy you a fabulous vacation, and that fabulous vacation will make you very happy, but every vacation comes to an end. So she says for number 2, money will not buy you happiness.
But love will buy you happiness.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I believe love will buy you happiness. My friend Francesca is actually really, really good with money. She saw that we were doing a show about love and money, and she added her favorite saying, which is money doesn't buy happiness, but it makes finding happiness a lot easier.
Francesca's right. I mean, it's the same reason. I mean, so they say every vacation comes to an end, but then you'll have money for the vacation. And, but love has ups and downs too, so there's sort of two sides to that. Like, nothing's going to be like, love's not going to make you happy all the time either. If you rob someone, you want to kill them. There's a song. And so, you're not always going to be happy, loving someone. Overall, you probably will be happier in your life. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Depends what you like.
Yeah. I agree. And I definitely think that, the happiness thing is something that we have to generate on our own anyway. So it's like, even the generating of love will definitely bring you happiness, and being able to love someone else will definitely bring you happiness. And it is easier to do the things to take care of yourself to support that happiness. So I definitely agree with Francesca on that. But happiness is something that we have to generate whether we have money or not, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
Just, it depends what you need to make you happy. Mm-hmm. And so that's more of a,
Lisa, no money means staycation.
May not be as fun, yes.
May not be as fun. Number 3, it won't solve your problems. Jay-Z still has 99 of them, and he has more money than any guy you're going to get to marry you.
First of all, maybe I'll get someone rich to marry me, lady.
Right? And I don't know that it won't solve problems, because if you think about it, like, even if you have health problems, you can get better health care with money.
It will solve problems. It will create problems as well.
That's true. That's very true. It's a different set of problems.
Yeah, Jay-Z has a bunch of problems. Jay-Z's worried about how to run Brooklyn, right. And and so that's a different set of problems he didn't have before.
It's a whole new thing. Number 4, it might not last. Sure, they say the rich keep getting richer, but sometimes the rich go broke. Nicolas Cage seemed tolerable when he had a $150 million fortune, but not so much when he had to file Chapter 7. I wonder why she uses Nicolas Cage.
I wonder why she thinks he was unbearable at any time. But it's true. But then that goes back to what you're saying with, if you're married to someone with a money mind who also has money, then that it's less likely to happen. However, things just happen. Like, if this person had a ton of money in 2008, they could have nothing. Things happen.
It's so true.
With love doesn't go away because someone filed for it. Love, it's love will go away for other reasons, but it's harder. If it's true love, and if you really are in love, it doesn't. Outside forces can't make that go away.
Yeah. No, I agree. Number 5, and I think we're going to have to cut it short because we're already at 8:56, and I want to make sure we get everything in. Number 5, it will trap you. Money is the number one. She says money is the number one reason people stay in a loveless marriage, especially if it's the reason they got into it in the first place. Most people with money want to protect their assets with ironclad prenups, so don't plan on walking away unless you plan on walking away broke. Interesting.
But yeah, if you went into it for money, then you might be trapped.
Right.
If you go in, that's kind of weird, because if you go into it just for money, you're not in love, then you'll be trapped there. But you're fine because you have money.
Yeah. But then what if you get to that point where you're just like, this is like what happened to Ivana Trump
or Melania?
Yeah. But Ivana got to the point where she was like so miserable and she had to walk away with nothing. Or like she got like a really, really small settlement or something.
Yeah, but nothing. Like, we still know the name Ivana Trump. Like, and she seems to always be like, in stuff, and and she got something, and she had stuff while she was there, and she walked away.
But nothing from him directly. Like, she already had her fame and all that stuff, which is great. But what I'm saying is she got from him nothing. And I'm just using her as an example just because we know her name.
But she was right.
You think about other women.
She could right. Yeah, if she's smart, which she was able to. You use whatever the fame that you get from him or connections, and you do your own thing. If she's a smart woman, as this article is about, then she has things, and she has turned things around and done things. Mm-hmm. And if you went into it for money, you have to be ready to go out of it for no money. So, it's like.
That's true. You gotta hedge your bets. Okay, 6 people with money still fight about money. Whether you're fighting over hundreds or hundreds of thousands, money will always be a point of contention. I agree with that too. That's what goes back to what we were saying before about a money mindset. Like, if you're with somebody who, it doesn't matter how much money they have, but if they have screwed up things, but like if they have a lot of money and they think that's their way to control you, or if they have no money and so they have to find other ways to, express how they feel about that or whatever, like either way, you're still in trouble.
People have problems. Rich and poor people, or rich or educated people are people. And people have problems, and there will just be different types of problems. And as you get just going in for money doesn't mean your problems are going to go away. There will just be different problems, and those problems might cost billions of dollars, or be more likely to affect other people too. So bigger problems,
right, on a much bigger scale. All right, so we got to 6 of those. I'm going to leave you guys the link so that if you want to go check out that article, I noticed that we're at 8:50. The time goes by so quickly.
It does.
The hour like whizzes by. We have people in the backyard who are visiting, so we're going to get to go out and meet them, Toby. I love that you brought your
That's so exciting. I think I like my
right.
glasses.
So, I'm going to send you the link for the article. I'm going to make sure that that's on the Facebook Live. Those of you who are listening in the garden, those of you who are tuning out, those of you at iHeartRadio, please be sure to just come by Facebook and check us out. You can come to my page, Candice Harper, or Candice Harper Love Coach, or Armed Radio Group News, and join that group, or the Creative Love Collective, and join that group. I have a coaching program called The Secret Art of Seductive Singlehood that is for women from 35 to 55. If you want to rock your singlehood, develop a healthy relationship, know how to get into healthy relationships, that's what I teach all about, creating abundance and love in your life. And here's the thing, the bottom line is that the reason you want to marry is because you have developed such a level of abundance. And I don't mean riches, like money riches, but such a level of abundance in your life that you're ready to overflow, right? It's not about looking for someone to give you what they can give you. And if you do pair with someone or partner with someone with the intention of getting something from them, you're going to struggle whether it's about love or money. It's all about what you can give. Do you agree with that?
I do agree, yeah.
So 101 ways to make your love and life sweeter. Here are today's 3 ways for the week. And Toby, you can add more if you have any. Number 1 is to find your purpose, because I do believe that being purposeful is how we attract other purposeful people. And that's how we get to be able to team up and have those great conversations about what we're going to do with our money, and, you know, where we're going to live and how we're going to spend. And we get to develop trust because we get to have a common purpose, a common goal, a common vision. It doesn't have to be the exact same one. Your soulmate is just somebody who can recognize it, understand it, you can enroll them in it, and they'll support it, right? So the second one is to get your finances in order. Whatever you want to do this week to start kind of like getting that ball rolling, if it isn't rolling, or if you're not sure how to do it, that's definitely something that's been a challenge in my life, my whole adult life, and so, you know, I'm working on it. Let me not lie. When I was working a day job, I never thought about it. I just paid my bills, I went on about my business, and whatever I had extra, I just played with and went on vacation. And now, because I'm running my own business and building my own things, it's a struggle, because no one teaches us these things, I don't think. Were your parents good about teaching about money?
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty good. And then when I was in the military, we had a little bit of training in that too.
Yeah.
So okay. Good people.
So the last is ask the person you're dating about their dreams for the future, and so that you guys can just understand whether they even have a vision, if they have something that they're trying to create. And that dictates a lot of what you end up doing with your money, knowing that you have a vision or what you want to do either apart or together. And Toby, is there anything you want?
Going along with that, reveal your things to them too. Make it a conversation with them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to my college reunion this week. So one of my things is going to be, don't compare yourself to other people.
Yes. Compare and despair, they call that. I love that. No comparing to others.
Because no one else has these glasses, let's be honest.
Right? And the final question is, how do I increase abundance in my life? Our Armed Radio Global people, I think they already went, but I turned down the computer, so I'm not sure. But I think that they already went. If you haven't gone yet, we love you, Armed Radio Global people. We love you, new iHeartRadio people. And our Facebook Live people, Lee, Scott Schultz, who just joined. We're just about to